What's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of the Cave Sports Football segment. Week 7 is in the books. We got some things we want to talk about, but before we get to that, I just wanted to plug you guys into our website. That's K4V3.com, where you can join us, where we have exclusive member events, fantasy leagues, and perks for our members. So make sure you head to K4V3.com and join the Discord through that website. And before we move on from that, or from more, I just wanted to also highlight our sponsor, SafeLightCandle.com. They have an assortment of LED lights for your home, office, or workspace. Wherever you feel like you need some lighting, hit up SafeLightCandle.com where you can stay lit for the Lolo. Now, let's start the show. I'm your host, Jermaine, aka Proper. I have Legit Naro and Feel the Burn. We are missing Francis tonight. So does that 2 weeks? Thought he'd be coming celebrating his Eagles winning, but needless to say, we're going to go ahead and break it down. We're going to go and get into week 7 to recap. Let's bring up those scores. Mm-hmm. All right, why don't you run us down, Naro?
Ooh, I get to run us down? Ooh, I feel special.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go.
All right, so let's go about it. We'll make this quick because we're going to highlight them coming into a second here after this. But Jags over Saints, 31-24. Felt like that one's going to be a shootout either way. Doesn't look like Derek Carr is doing well over there. Bears and Raiders, 30-12. Bears on top. That was a big one right there for the Bears.
Was that a shocker? I mean, I kind of had the Raiders winning that one, but
I had the Raiders winning, but I only had the Raiders winning on that one if Jimmy was going to play. If Jimmy wasn't playing, I didn't have the Raiders, but our selection happened before we found out officially Jimmy was out. So I'll do it. Browns over Colts. I was hoping the Colts were going to take this one, but the Browns eked it out right at the end there. The Pats over the Bills. The Bills looked like they were coming for a comeback, and they just couldn't finish it out. The Commanders and Giants. That was a pretty uneventful game, but the Giants won that one. The Bucks and Falcons, also a pretty uneventful game, but the Falcons won that on a last-minute field goal by Koo. I don't know if anybody else saw the football version of the bat toss.
Helmet flip
at the end. That was great.
Yeah.
Ravens smoked the Lions. That was a huge shocker, I think, to everybody.
Yes, it was.
Really feeling the Lions were a solid team. Ravens came in and stomped on them. Steelers over Rams. The Steelers played really well this week. I was very happy about it. They could have. They weren't. Let me phrase that. We'll get into that later. We have that on the segment too.
Weren't you there or no?
No, I actually didn't go. I was going to go, but none of you guys were able to go, and I was like, if we're going to drive all the, because I was in Menifee, dude. So if I was driving, that's a 2-hour drive out there. So Cardinals and Hawks, kind of saw that one going that way. Broncos and Packers, did not see that one going that way.
I did.
Chargers and Chiefs, I wish that was a little bit closer of a game. That felt like it could have been, but I think we need to start looking at Justin Herbert as maybe he's not the quarterback that we thought he was.
He's having a fluke year.
Eagles, Dolphins, it looks like the Eagles are really good against pretty much any team in the NFL, or the Dolphins are good against any team in the NFL that isn't a good team. You know what I mean? Like when it came to the Bills, they got smoked. They came to the Eagles, they got smoked. But all the rest of the teams in the NFL, they're absolutely dominating. So that's going to be a question mark coming into the rest of the season. And then the Kings over the Niners. 2 weeks in a row, the Niners fall off. That's tough, man. Now, I know there was a couple of injuries coming into that game, but still, now a lot of people are talking about Brock Purdy right now. Is he still, the quarterback that everyone thinks that he is? It is 2 games. Fucking chill out.
Yeah. I mean, another tough week. I remember we were discussing about the Niners Vikings, thinking this would be a cool, easy bounce back for the Niners. They're going to sit McCaffrey. What they do, they did the complete opposite. But shows us how we are so good at this. It's hard to read. It's all a prediction, really, what we're doing on here, and it's all educated guesses. But hey, I'm sure Zach is wishing the Niners actually did what we thought they were going to do, right?
I mean, McCaffrey literally played every single snap of that game. I think they put 53 snaps he played in that game, and they lost. So it's almost like why even risk it at that point? Like why even have him out there?
Right.
I think I saw a report came out that he had a torn oblique, and I was like, oh, fuck that! Like sit him, because it's not about week 8 is not what's important. Week 22 is what's important. So I was a little frustrated. Obviously the way that game went down. Come to find out now that Brock he went for a QB scramble late in that game and took a blow to the head, and now he's in concussion protocol. He hadn't shown symptoms until they were on the plane back, which is also that's kind of scary. So he's probably going to be out this week. Thankfully, I know that the opinions are down on Sam Darnold, but I'm still a big believer in him. Obviously, being a USC fan, so getting into Shanahan's system, he looked great in preseason. So hopefully that can carry over. They're playing the Bengals, which is tough, but at least they're at home this week. So little bounce back there. And as far as Herbert goes, somebody I forgot who it was that made this point, but someone one of the talking heads that we see on like the big media was saying that this is Herbert's third offensive coordinator in 4 years. But you still got to make certain throws. He was looking off. I don't know if that's 100% testament to the Chiefs and the pressure they were dialing up against him or not. But there's a couple throws that he normally makes. These last 2 weeks, if he's normal Herbert and can hit these throws like we've all seen for the last few years, they probably don't win this past week, but at least they beat the Cowboys, 2 weeks ago. And then we're talking a little bit different about that team. So there's too much talent on that team for them to be 2-4 right now. So hopefully they can figure it out. They got the Bears this week, as we'll talk about next. A couple other things that caught my eye. The Bears looked competent, speaking of them, with Badgett under center. Again, I'm pretty sure I called Steelers. We're going to have a home game at SoFi this week. Shout out to them with that big dub. Young Wiku had a helmet flip, which was pretty sick. If we're going to talk about officiating, maybe that should have been a penalty, but I think clock expired, so who knows what would have happened there if they would have thrown a flag, if they would have got an untimed down, but it would have been like a kickoff or something, so I don't think it would have mattered. But I did see that. I thought that was pretty funny that people would bring that up. But yeah, it seemed like the theme of this week was upsets, and I think Vegas was actually due to claim to win some money back. And from what I was hearing all this week so far, is Vegas made out this week pretty well. They destroyed the public. So I wish we had Francis on to talk about the betting, but I think he'd be able to attest to that as well. So a lot of upsets in week 7, and looking forward to an even crazier week 8.
Yeah, speaking of upsets, before we go on, if you're watching live, just want to apologize for the technical difficulties with Zach. It's just Optimus Prime is giving us a call, so
oh no,
Zach. No, you're good, but you're clear now. But yeah, so speaking of upsets, we have what you guys didn't see coming, but I did. The Broncos beating the Packers. It was a grinded out win, but I think they did pretty well. I mean, the Broncos defense, they've been playing pretty well these past couple of games, but it's just now where's the offense at? And I think we see the offense finally kind of clicking here, but it's still showing that they're very much still trying to find a way to make it work out. But what about on the Packers end? Did you guys see anything that you thought that maybe they could have done better, or was this something that kind of exposed the Packers as a team a little bit against, a team that's struggling like the Broncos?
I mean, the Packers are struggling too. They're not the greatest.
Yeah.
So my thing with the Packers going into this year, I don't think that anybody expected them to be even kind of relevant at all. So I don't think anyone's expecting big things from the Packers. But they do look, as a whole, the team doesn't look like it's in as much of a shambles as they thought it was going to be.
Right.
This year, I do like Jordan Love. I like him. I think he's good. I think that team can center around him, but it's his first year starting. And so there's going to be a lot around it. So I wouldn't call this necessarily an upset because the Packers really aren't that good. But I didn't. I don't think that the Packers are that exposed. The Packers really
right.
This year, I just think that I expected a little bit more from the Packers.
Yeah.
They had
Mhm. Right. No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, the Green Bay Packers aren't a good team to begin with, but on paper, they look like the team that's supposed to beat the Broncos, given the history of the Broncos' defensive woes throughout the season, their inconsistent offense. So on paper, it looked like the Packers are going to walk away with this win, but the Broncos have shown that if they can put some things together, they can grind out some ugly wins. I mean, this isn't like a win I'm sure all of Broncos Nation is saying is the best, but we're happy to see a win. But it also, if you were watching the game, I know I was, of course, but it was a grinded out game, and it really just came down to the wire of putting something together, and to come together with a team like the Broncos struggling as much as they are, to put together a game-winning drive like that in crunch time, it gives a little hope to the team, and I'm actually happy to see that they're showing some grit and actually putting a fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think that as this score suggests, this was definitely a grinded out game, as you said. Was that 36 points? That's low for the NFL. But I think if you're the Packers, holding your opponent, they should be able to put a point at least. So probably more disappointing on the Packers' end for not scoring more points, but a win's a win, and winning's hard to win to do that as it's 2 weeks. So shout out to the Broncos getting this win.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right. Before we actually move on to the next game, I wanted to ask you guys that Kareem Jackson hit. Do you guys think that suspension is fair? I think that suspension complete shit, because if you actually look at the replay, he's leading with his shoulder, but I mean, other people have different views of it. That's why I want to see, how did you guys see it? I mean, a lot of NFL players are pretty vocal, saying it's a bad call, but I want to see from your guys' eyes what you guys think.
I think he should have been fined, but suspended, no, especially not 4 games. That's egregious. So I think it got cut down to 2, but even still, no, it's just that's football,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the reason why the game it came down to a couple games missing, because isn't this his second injection this year?
Yeah,
or something like that. So I think that's why. I think that's why the suspension came into play.
Makes sense.
There's a lot. The crappy thing is, there's a lot of these hits that aren't necessarily, they're not dirty hits in per se, but they turn out dirty just because of the way that the game is played, and it kind of sucks because that's happened. The same thing. I mean, I bring up the what's his name from Nick Chubb from earlier this year, right? Like, that wasn't a dirty hit from Minka Fitzpatrick, but it turned out dirty just because of the situation that the angle that it was, and it was an accident. It wasn't a purpose. So it's really hard for someone to say, that's dirty and he deserves this, and that, when it's like a lot of these people be coming up with this stuff. They don't play the fucking game, dude. Excuse my language, but they don't play. They're just in an office watching things. When it comes to like all of these different types of punishments, right? I don't know. That's my take on some of this stuff.
That's fine. No, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasoning behind it, and I think there's a lot of agreeable points to it. So, moving forward, we're going to talk about Pittsburgh flying into SoFi and securing a dub. Naro, I actually want you to go ahead and walk us through that game. That's your team getting the dub, so break it down for us. What were things that you liked about your Steelers? What were things that they got away with as far as, obviously it wasn't a perfect game, but what are you happy about with your Steelers? And just walk us through that.
So this game was, I knew this game was going to be a throwing battle because of the receivers that were on both sides, and both running games aren't, most fantastic, especially with the Rams going through what they're going through right now with their running backs kind of just all over the place, and the Steelers obviously can't figure out their running game. So and for the fact that all of the Steelers touchdowns came on running plays was absolutely insane to me. But they were inside the red zone, and I guess what I liked was the fact that I got a lot of points from Puka Nacua without them winning. I loved that. Puka Nacua is shiny, man. Dude, I'll get to my Steelers in a second, but that kid is here to stay. A lot of people have been talking about what's going to happen when Kupp comes back, and Nacua has still been the number one receiver on their team since Cooper Kupp has came back. Now, Cooper Kupp is definitely a great addition. You have to respect him, and he's still obviously doing well. He is Cooper Kupp. He is a great receiver, but Puka Nacua is still getting the ball. He's here, very much here to stay. So if anyone thought about, where do I need to sit him on fantasy, and we'll get into fantasy later, you leave him in your starting lineup. That man is here to stay. Dude, the Steelers, they came back. They got their receiving weapon, a couple of receiving weapons back. They figured out this is coming off the bye week, so they took some time. And Najee, I'm so happy that Najee finally is performing well, because I'm sick and tired of the people talking about how Najee needed to be traded. And what I saw during this game was allowing Najee to get the ball where he is most comfortable. He had one bad run the entire game. He was trying to bounce the ball to the outside and got swallowed up. Other than that, Najee is not a dive runner. He's more of an outside runner. Whereas Jalen Warren is a lot easier with running through the middle, doing halfback dives and stuff like that, because Jalen Warren's a little bit smaller. He can sneak through. It's a little bit easier. He's a smaller of a target to hit. Whereas Najee is just a mean, he looked very comfortable. The running game was very comfortable. Both running backs were running the ball very well. The pass game was fantastic. So another fantasy tip, what I'll kind of just nudge again on the Steelers side. There was a lot of questions on George Pickens with Deontay Johnson coming back. George Pickens, I feel like, and we kind of saw it in this game, is going to stick as the wide receiver one. And I think they're going to be complemented by receiver one, but I think George Pickens is going to be a little bit more targeted more. It's kind of easy to see that he is the when you need to get the ball to somebody, George Pickens is the person to get the ball to, because he's going to catch that ball. Deontay Johnson is a ridiculous route runner, so being able to have him back was fantastic. Dude, honestly, and I know I'm just kind of talking here, but this was a different Steelers team than we have seen throughout the entire first part of their season. Because the defense played really well with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are getting catches. There's no, you can't stop that. But other than that, they did really well. Keeping the run game to a minimal. The defense, was doing Steeler defense stuff, and the offense looked, other than a couple of beginning of the half drives, Steelers offense looked like the Steelers offense that was playing in the preseason. So if Matt Canada can continue to call more like shots downfield, that's all, dude. That's really all it was. It was crazy. It was like Matt Canada was not even calling this game. That's how completely different the play calling was. It was so wild, dude. They were actually throwing the ball downfield. Beyond me. That's just so crazy. Which allowed the run game to open up, it was just, it was a really solid game. Now, obviously, they're not perfect. I don't see the Steelers as a, Super Bowl or even a mid-playoff caliber team as of currently, but it is definitely signs of life coming from the Steeler team. So I was very happy about that. Now, one thing that I will get into that did not have to do with the game, it had to do with the officiating, and I'll get into this next week. We need to, I think, as a society of football viewers, there needs to be a lot more rule knowledge to the fan base. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I'll get into the rest of that. God, that fourth and one call, I think was what people don't realize is that the spot was good because of forward progress, and the ball didn't need, which a lot of people I think they negate this. The ball does not need to completely cross the plane, whether it's a touchdown, whether it's a first down or whatever. The tip, as long as the tip is on that line, it's good, right? A lot of people's arguments are where Kenny landed and not where the ball was at its farthest point. But if we wanted to get more into depth about that, I'm cool with making a video about it and showing people when I find some time and some stuff. But we'll get into that some other time. But I feel like a lot of whining comes from people not understanding rules of the game. Now, if he didn't make it, he didn't make it. But from what I saw, the ball placement was good from where his forward progress was.
Yeah, I mean, I think you talked about this game in a way where we can't really go more than that. You have better input on the Steelers. I'm glad your Steelers got that win. A win's a win. I know you're happy about it. But yeah, so we got another game we wanted to talk about. And
I just want to say one thing. Hold on. Before we leave the Steelers.
Okay.
Before we leave the Steelers, I want to go on record. Right here. Steelers are going to make the playoffs. No doubt in my mind.
Okay.
I think that the Steelers are going to make the playoffs. I don't think we're getting past. I don't think we're getting midway through the playoffs. But I have said this before.
Don't matter. They're going to get in.
I have said this before in the beginning of the season. This Steelers team, if we're going to keep Matt Canada, fine, but he needs to do better play calling like he did. Like, there was a lot better play calling like this Sunday. But this Steelers team, if this Steelers team stays together and can whatever within the next couple of years, this Steelers football team, Kenny will win us a Super Bowl within the next 5 years.
So I'm not gonna go that far. However, this team is better. This team is better than what we thought. They had a bunch of grinded out wins early, and it kept them afloat. They got to their bye, got a little healthy, got a little time to regroup and reassess. They made a lot of adjustments on that bye, and Mike Tomlin's too good of a coach to not make the playoffs. I think this Pittsburgh Steelers team makes the playoffs, and possibly, depending on who they play, get a road victory in the first round. So, we'll see what happens. I'm convinced, dude.
Yeah, they could make the playoffs. I agree with that. One of those just made it kind of teams, I think, though. But hey, doesn't matter, right, Zach? So we actually have another game we wanted to talk about.
Let's get in, baby.
But I wanted to. Too bad Francis isn't here because his team got the win. I wanted to give him a platform, but there's going to be many more wins for him to speak on the team. So, Zach, I actually want to bring you in and talk about this game where we had, expectations of this being kind of, a very exciting shootout, I should say. But it turned out to be just Eagles showing their dominance over a team that, like Naro has said, has not performed very well against good teams. So, Zach, I just want you to walk us through what the Eagles did to show that these Dolphins are still very inexperienced.
So the Eagles are not a team to mess with at home for sure. I think they got a good amount of home cooking. I will say in this game, on their side, Dolphins didn't help themselves. We have to word this two different ways. Philly got the benefit of the officiating, or Dolphins just weren't disciplined. I believe it was 10 penalties to none in favor of the Eagles this game. That's where a lot of the people are talking about in terms of how this game went down. That seemed to be the spotlight as we've been ranting on this pod for months now. Sometimes the team just can't help themselves, and they either overcompensate for what happened earlier in the day, or they got, for whatever reason, like to make it about themselves. Whatever you want to say, however you want to word it, whatever perspective you choose to, go with on that one, that's up to you. But Eagles dominated this game. It was not as close as the score suggested. I will say the Eagles looked freaking sweet in those unis. I'm not gonna lie at all. Yeah, that's the Kelly Green that I think Francis was talking about. Pretty sick. Dolphins, the teal and white's classic. So it was a good uniform matchup. There were a couple plays in this game that make this game a little different. Tyreek holds on to that catch in the end zone. Not only do I win in fantasy in one of my leagues that I'm in, I think a bunch of Tyreek owners probably end up winning their fantasy matches with that extra touchdown and reception and the yards that came with it. And that score, I think at that point it would have tied the game, if I'm not mistaken. But brotherly shove keeps working. Tush push. Obviously here at the cave we love tush and push. And that seems to be a play that will carry this Eagles team. When you get 4th and 1 and you just need a little bit of more yards, just push that tush and you'll get that first down. So I was impressed with the way the Eagles did. And AJ Brown is on a whole nother planet right now. 4 straight games over 125 yards, over 28 fantasy points per game in 4 straight games. Dude is carrying fantasy football owners that took him on their teams this year. And Eagles were receiving core. Obviously, last week they had the L, but that was on the road in New Jersey. And, they came home, got some home cooking, looked like a better team in week 7, and dominated primetime. The game wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be. There were maybe a couple other games that ended up being better than this one over the slate. But, if you're an Eagles fan, like Francis is, if he was here, he'd probably say, I love it. So shout out to the Eagles getting that dub and remaining on top of the NFC.
Yeah, and good for AJ Brown too, because AJ Brown when he was with the Titans, man, he was not looking like the receiver that he's looking like now, man. Good for AJ Brown getting to the right team, getting the dude, because he's looking fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. The Eagles are just showing a dominance. It's actually, I know Francis is very happy with how they're doing this season. I know they had that loss, and we've been teasing them about it, but we all know that loss is nothing. But the Eagles look pretty sweet in those jerseys, like you said. So That was our Week 7 recap. There was nothing more we could put to that. It was just sadly enough, we're heading to that midway point of the football season, and it's kind of sad. It goes by so quick, and now we're looking forward to seeding for the playoffs. But yes, without that comes a rant about tanking. I'm not a big fan of tanking, man. Unless it's necessary, right?
Hell nah.
What do you guys But no, I'm not a fan of this tanking. This tanking talk is mainly I'm more fueled by it because of the Broncos fans are kind of just saying, oh, the Broncos should just tank. We should tank for Caleb Williams. First of all, I'm not a big believer in Caleb Williams. You saw how he played in Utah. He's a fraud. I don't think he's as good as people. And plus, any USC quarterback that has come to the NFL hasn't played very well. People tend to forget that. I mean, you have Mark Sanchez, butt fumble. Come on. And then Matt Leinart. You know, he didn't really do much. Matt Barkley, a lot of hope in him. Didn't do anything. Cody Kessler, remember that? That didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, it's just that's why I'm not. Here's the thing, though. I understand when teams tank because they literally have nothing. So fuck it, let's tank. Let's go get our first pick and build around them. Fine, but the Broncos, we're too broke to fucking tank. Even if we tank, we're still paying a huge contract to Russell Wilson. But what are we going to do with whoever we get? We can't. And now we're going to let go of pieces that we have, like Pat Surtain is apparently in talks, in trade talks, and they're engaging with the Eagles. Great. Make the Eagles better. Nice job. We're making us worse and then making another team even better. Sorry, Francis. And Cortland Sutton, you know, I'd rather keep him over Jerry Jeudy, to be honest. But
Hell yeah,
to trade both of them is ridiculous because Jerry Jeudy, he's annoying. I don't really like how he's just his mindset is just off-putting for a team. You know, like a team that's struggling. It shows that he's still all about him. It's him, and it's kind of annoying. I feel like we need to break out of that and trade him. Fine, trade him. I'd be happy with that. But to trade defensive pieces, we got a defense that we can work with. We got Nick Bonito who's showing some promise. The defense has also woken up, and I'm still not the biggest believer in Vance Joseph. So, if anything, we shouldn't tank. We should just shake things up in the offseason, get rid of Vance Joseph, try to sign defensive players and a better O-line, because for the past few years, the Broncos' problem has always been an O-line. They can't protect, and Russell has no time to throw the ball back there. It's everyone wants to blame Russell, and I'm being fair. Like there's times where Russell is completely at fault. Like that Chiefs game, I felt like a lot of that was on him for his let's say lackluster play. But I think the defense is shaping up pretty well. So why should we tank? We can build. We also got Sean Payton. It's his first year. Yes, it hasn't been the greatest, and he's not very promising to a lot of fans right now. But also you have to understand he took in a team that's very, very broken, let's say. I mean, he got it from Nathaniel Hackett, and we know he jinxed it by talking this shit on Hackett, whatever. It is what it is, but still at the end of the day, he still has a shitty team he's working with. And by team, I'm not saying like the players. I'm just saying just how this is put together and how it's ran. It's very broken. I'm starting to question George Payton. Like, why are you even going to go in talks with trading Pat Surtain? Caleb Williams is not the future for the Denver Broncos, and I don't think he's going to be a future for any football team. He's not good in my opinion, and I don't know. I'm not a believer in him. I'd rather just work on Russell Wilson because he's proven he's won the Super Bowl, and he brought that Seattle Seahawks team to life. And granted, he's probably a product of Pete Carroll's system, but still, he's shown that he can win games, and it's just been tough for the Broncos lately because, like I said, just the way this team's ran and put together, it's like there's no chemistry. Everyone's just playing to play, and that falls on Russell. He needs to be more in the locker room because there's things about him being, oh, I'm him kind of attitude. Does that make sense? Like where he feels that it's just him, and like Marshawn Lynch has put him on blast saying like, he tried to reach out to him after a loss, and Russell Wilson was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So he needs to find a way to connect with his team to progress that offense. So just to wrap up my rant, going back, I don't think to tank the rest of our season is going to be beneficial for the Broncos, and I don't think it's beneficial for any team that has key pieces instead of letting go of these key pieces, try and just work it out and do your work in the off season. I think it's just too easy to quit on a team and say we're going to tank. I'm not a big fan of it. It's just an easy way out, and it's kind of it's just whack to see, because like you built, as a fan, you build like your respect for some of these players that you're a huge fan of, and then all of a sudden your team's like, we're letting them go because we're just not, they don't say it outright, but they're tanking, so they're just going to go ahead and get rid of these key pieces, and it sucks. But I understand it's the name of the game, but I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. What do you guys think of tanking, Naro?
I feel like that was less of a tanking rate and more of a, I feel like my organization isn't doing the right thing.
Well, that too, but that's why I said like that the tanking thing is kind of just fueled by the Broncos and how fans are kind of just saying fuck it, tank. We won against the Packers and everyone's like the Broncos are tanking wrong. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, I don't want to tank. Like, we should build off of this.
I think that I personally, I don't know. I mean, it happens. We heard about some stuff going on in Miami a couple of years ago, right? Quote unquote. But I don't know if any NFL organization's like, yeah, let's fucking tank and let's screw up our season so this for next season. Or like, it's too. No matter what the fans say, man, like that's their lives, bro. Like, these players' lives, that's what they do. That's what they eat, sleep, and breathe is football, man. They are the best in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of jobs out there where there's a lot of people and you can't really tell if it's no. These guys are the best in the world. They are the top people at what they do, which means they eat, sleep, breathe it. No one goes in there wanting to tank as a strategy. Like, that's a dumb ass strategy. I think that the whole concept of tanking has really been come up with by fans, and I think it's freaking stupid. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. You should never, ever, 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 ever want to tank. Right? There's no reason for it. Build up what you have, and if you lose, you lose. Okay, fine. We'll figure it out next year. But I can't stand people who talk about tanking and how you should tank, because that's stupid. That is the dumbest thing in the world to me. You're messing with people's livelihoods when you're talking about tanking. Like, that's not. Yeah, sorry. That's my opinion on it.
No, you're good.
I mean, Herm Edwards said it best, dude. You play to win the game. If you go through as an organization and you embrace this tanking mindset and tanking culture, you're compromising future free agents and being an attractive landing spot for players who want to come and play for your organization. So, like, why jeopardize the future, because you think you're also going to improve the future by getting a higher draft pick? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, on the surface, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Like, obviously, if you want Caleb Williams, you're going to suck, so you can guarantee you get Caleb Williams. But again, you're messing with players' livelihoods. You're messing with staff livelihoods. Like, if the Broncos were tanking and it's with Sean Payton, like, that just jeopardizes his integrity as well as a coach, and minimizes, how his aura is, because it lessens his record. Now his winning percentage goes down, and you know what I'm saying? So it just, like, it has a ripple effect that I don't think people really fully understand. So, I'm completely against tanking. Yeah.
It's tough for a fan who's passionate about it just to hear other fans. So that's why I kind of just want to talk about it. It's annoying to hear, but it is what it is. I understand where people are getting at, but they also don't see the other side of it, I guess, right? But yeah, so let's just go ahead and move forward. We had a great fantasy football week for some of us. Let's go ahead and go through our matchups. I'm going to run this down for everyone.
Who you're talking about? It wasn't me.
Yep, it wasn't you. I got my 6th win in the league. I should be undefeated if I didn't make some stupid last-minute substitution against Francis, but it is what it is. Naro, I mean, I'm sorry, but
I looked team who didn't have 100 points, bro. Like, only now.
You know, I was looking at your roster. I was like, come on, man. These guys got to pull through and make it, interesting for you. I was hoping one of those sleeper weeks for you. Who knows? It happens, right? Crumlin Herb losing to Johnny Lance. Johnny Lance putting up 128.06 points to mark his 4th win of the season. Gordon Bombay falling to CD's Nuts 121.26. And before we get to that game, we want to highlight this, but we're going to go to Jarrell's Mask Francis taking down one of our top and leading teams in Slime Bucket. Top scoring teams got what everyone likes to say is auto pick. I didn't know he was auto pick, so
auto pick.
He's an auto pick. He's 5-2, say that 2nd place. But Jarrell's Mask made it look like easy work, putting up 154, the highest score of the week. And now we want to talk about Ayukin squeaking by Hit Squad 131 by 0.2. Zach, what?
20 yards, baby. 20 yards, all I needed. So I think going into this matchup, we had Ayuk and Osborne, and I needed Ayuk to outscore Osborne by at least 1 point, and that's exactly what happened. Ayuk got a catch late when the Niners were trying to get back in the field goal range. Ended up getting a catch on the opposite end to put them. I don't know if it was a field goal, if they scored a touchdown or whatnot, but it was crazy how back and forth that was, like, all game. And Ayuk ended up getting like a 20-yard reception and put me back in the lead, and I stayed in the lead. And it's one of the closest victories we've seen in this league so far. So always fun to see a close finish like this. Even more fun to be on the winning end of it. So shout out PQ. Yes. I know we were chatting back and forth during this matchup, but it is what it is, baby.
I just wanted to point out too, that's where the fuck did you get that Ayukin picture? That's pretty funny. Ayuk as Ryu.
Yeah, I just scrounged the internet, dude. I'm a freaking just bottom dweller on the bottom of the internet realm until I find something that looks funny, and yeah, I just enter the URL and it uploads the logo. So shout out to whoever made that logo, and I was able to utilize that for my fantasy team this year. So shout out.
Pretty clever. Yeah. So before we move on to our Week 8 preview, Zach, do you have any waiver wire picks that you think people should know about, if there's any right now?
Yeah. So waivers process today. I had Brett Mayer in a bunch of leagues, and he got cut by the Rams, so I dropped him and picked up Dustin Hopkins wherever I could. I'm a big fan of Dustin Hopkins, obviously because of where he played with before the Browns. So shout out D-Hop, who I would always joke and be like, he's the real D-Hop. He had a big last 2 weeks for the Browns, kicking and for fantasy. So I went with him kicking wise. Tight ends Dalton Kincaid if he's available. I think Knox is out for the Bills, so if you can grab Kincaid now before tomorrow, he might be one of the higher scoring tight ends for the week. Darrell Henderson for the Rams if he's available. He ended up being the number one back for that team and had a pretty impressive game, all things considered, against a stout Steelers defense. So I feel like that'll continue this week. They play the Cowboys, which is another tough defense. But he's one of those backs that if he gets hot and can find some holes, he'll have a big day. Wide receiver, I hope Addison's not still available on teams or on leagues free agency list, but he was available for the first 3 weeks of the season in some leagues I was in, so I tried to grab him as much as possible. He might be a league winner at this point with JJ being out. He had a monster week last week against the Niners. Tank Dell, if he's still out there, they're coming off their bye, I believe. Houston didn't play last week, right? Yeah, so He might have been dropped to make room for some bye week fill-ins. So if he's there, pick him up. Quarterbacks, Cousins. Did he get the primetime monkey off his back? If so, ride with him the rest of the season. He looked freaking awesome against the Niners on Monday. And then defenses. Baltimore, if they're available. Go with Baltimore. Yeah, that's the defense I was targeting a lot in the offseason. And I think they're number one, depending on what system you use, but they've been rolling. Oh, actually, check to see if Niners defense have been dropped. I see the Niners defense got dropped in a couple leagues. Pick them up.
Tennessee, not Tennessee. On the defense side, I know the Falcons as a whole, as a team, they're their offense needs to get some stuff figured out, but the Falcons defense has not been putting up terrible numbers this year. So if you're like trying to figure out who to snag up, most Falcons, most leagues Falcons defense are available. Like, snag them up for a little bit. Yeah. They got a pretty weak schedule coming up, and they'll do pretty well.
They haven't given up many points, huh? Like they've been close in all their games, and it's been like under 25 points every week almost, huh?
Yeah. Plus the AFC or the NFC South is dog, so they're gonna get some good points. On the quarterback, the only note that I have on quarterback is I said this a couple weeks ago too, and I see that he's only rostered in like 69% of the leagues. Guys, CJ Stroud is a fantasy quarterback. He is a fantasy quarterback. If you do not have one of the top three scoring quarterbacks, like if you don't have Patty or Lamar Jackson or I guess Burrow or Tua or Allen, like if you don't have those like five, or Jalen Hurts, you don't have those like 5-6 quarterbacks. Guys, most leagues are 10, 12 people. CJ Stroud is a great quarterback. He's putting up on average 18 to 19 points a week. So I know he's a rookie, but he's doing work. I don't know if you guys have seen his stats, but his numbers are wild.
Definitely
impressive for a rookie for sure. He was, again, I said he'd be the best quarterback out of this draft class. I think he's in a good spot with D'Amico Ryans with their defense, so he just has to worry about playing quarterback, and I think he's doing a great job so far beginning of the season. I love that, Naro. Good call on that one. Sneaky tight end pickup before we dip on this, Taysom Hill for the Saints. And then the rookie Downs in Indy has been blowing up a little bit too, so they're probably – and then obviously Rashee Rice seems to be developing into Mahomes' favorite non-Kelsey target and has a potential to break off big games and could break off, a couple touchdowns a la Gabe Davis a couple years ago with Buffalo. So Rashee Rice is also a good pickup.
Dope. So if you find your team needs some help and you need players to fill out a roster, whether it's injuries or just not producing, take a listen to what these guys said. Maybe they'll work for your team if they're available. So head to that waiver wire now and try and pick these people up. With that said, Week 7's finally out of the way. We're going to go ahead and preview Week 8. Got some cool matchups that we want to talk about. Let's run down the schedule and pick out some games that we feel that are going to be worth watching. But before we get there, there it is. But before we get there, I wanted to know, what was our score on the picks, Naro?
We had a crappy week, all three of us, because of how weird this week was. We are all tied up on this one. We all finished out with 5.
God damn it.
Wow.
5, guys.
3 ways.
That's the lowest
number
we've had, as most wins are coming in at 9 to 11. 5. We all tied at 5.
Never forget.
Tough, dude. So right now,
that was an inside job.
They're still tied for first. Zach got his second win of the season.
Yeah. Can't get my third without my second, so let's go, boys.
There you go.
Let's run down this real quick before we head on to the quick hitters edition of this. So tomorrow, Thursday night game, we got the Buccaneers coming to Buffalo. What do you guys have winning that? Or wait, that's not quick hitters. Yeah, right.
Buffalo.
Buffalo's definitely going to bounce back on that.
Am I taking hitters? Is this what we're doing right now?
We're just gonna. You guys just want to run it together? We can run it together. Fuck it.
All right.
All right. Buccaneers.
Hold on, before we get to
Bills.
hitters.
Okay.
Eagles Commanders might be a sneaky game. We saw this is a rematch from a couple weeks ago where I felt like the Eagles were threatened and weren't the best team in football. So that one could be interesting. Patriots Dolphins. Tyreek Hill didn't practice. Raheem Mostert didn't practice today, so be on the lookout for that. That could end up being a close game as well. And that's just for these morning games. And obviously Vikings Packers rivalry game. Rams Cowboys going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. Battle of New Jersey, right? I don't know, whatever. Jets Giants, so see what happens. All right, let's go.
What's the next set? I think we had another set of schedule we could pull up real quick.
Throw us that second set real quick.
Yeah, Texans, Panthers. I mean,
Bengals, Niners.
Yeah,
Browns,
Niners.
Browns, Seahawks. Watch out for that game. Browns, Seahawks might be game of the week.
Really?
Yeah.
It's never something you hear ever. Browns in a game of the week, right? So
Well, they beat the Niners, so.
yeah,
That game's gonna be fucking ugly. Guarantee it.
I'm really liking this Bengals Niners game. I'm probably gonna watch that game because that looks really fun.
Let's just stay away from talking about the Niners, dude. I'm gonna want to talk about them this week. I feel like I'm jinxing them, dude. Okay, so this is also the third straight week where I've crowned a team and said they're the best team in the league, and they lost that next week. So I am not doing that. I'm not doing that this week. I want everyone's teams to be safe this week, okay? I want everyone to have a fun and safe Halloween, and I want all these teams that are like supposed to be good that I'm thinking in my head like, oh, that could be the best team in the league. I'm not going to say it. All right, so let's just enjoy this week. I'm not going to put any expectations or pressure on these teams this week.
Dude, you
I'm not. It was the Niners, the Lions. I said best team in the league. Boom, got blown out. Yep, not doing it. No, we're good.
Hey, can you say the Chiefs are the best team in the league right now? So I can.
Hey, Chiefs might be the best team that we've seen in the history of the NFL for like this time frame of like gap without winning multiple or more than 2 Super Bowls. I think they kind of put the asterisk there on that one because Patriots dynasty and all that. So, but yeah, no, this Chiefs team is probably the best team in the league. There we go.
I hope you curse them enough because
Chiefs Kingdom.
I just want the Broncos to not give them that historic streak right now. Just end it. Fucking don't give it to them. I don't care if we win by 2, 3. Just don't give it to them.
I'm just done with freaking seeing Taylor, dude. Like,
I don't know if my power can overcome Taylor's power, though, dude. Like, she might have the stranglehold on the NFL, dog. Like,
no.
We'll see what happens. I put it to the test.
No,
his brother started now. His brother was in the box with them, and he's
Jackson
involved. Oh,
hey, that handshake is sick, though, right? That handshake is sick. Back, top, with the hip toss, and then turn around, do the little thing. Let's go. Let's go.
What made me mad too was that his brother sat there and watched it, and then
gave it at the end.
Yeah, dude. It's sort of like you know they always show Taylor Swift after every Kelsey catch. It's just like, here we go. It's funny. They should make a drinking game out of it. Every time they show Taylor Swift take a shot because you go get fucked up.
You know what's really irritating about that too is I respect Patrick Mahomes. Like, I actually like Patrick Mahomes. He's for the most part he's humble and he's a good quarterback. For the most part, he's humble. Obviously, he's one of the best teams in the NFL, so he's allowed to talk ish. So, but I respect Mahomes for the most part. I just can't stand his family, dude. I can't stand Patrick Mahomes.
You know what?
Family,
damn.
You know, Mahomes is cool.
Damn.
Right? I mean,
even his daughter, like, she hasn't done anything yet.
You know, there was a funny video that I saw of Mahomes where I was like, you know what? I respect him. Where he was at a basketball game with his wife, and he pretty much told her to tone it down. Like,
I saw that one.
Being annoying. What the fuck? And then she's like mocking him on the side, and he shook his head. He's like, "Fuck!" And then the comments were just pointing. He's like, "Hey, someone save Pat, man! Save him!" But yeah, so I
just want to mention something about we were talking about Caleb, and like everyone's comparing Caleb to like Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, it's all great now. You can compare the two, but like Caleb will have to go to the same situation that Mahomes did to be able to maximize his output, because you're seeing him having to put a team on his back these last 2 games for USC. It hasn't worked out. So if he ends up falling to the right situation, it might work out for him. But if he's going to be relied upon to like be the number one, like everyone's going to be just as fast as him in the NFL. He's not going to be able to everyone's going to throw different progressions at him and all that stuff that he's seeing right now against really good defenses, and we're seeing the benefactors. So he has to really get to that right spot. So if you're going to tank for Caleb, you better make sure that you have everything in place to maximize Caleb.
God, please, Broncos, don't fucking do it. Yeah, but those were
Mr. Limited. Dude, they don't need Caleb.
Yeah, unlimited penalties, I guess, right, with the Broncos. Unlimited missed incompletions or bad passes. Such a stupid nickname. By
You know
the
what's
way,
crazy is they compared stats between Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson's stats are just a little bit better.
Yeah,
and everyone's talking about Patty being a MVP runner. Like, is this really what we're doing right now?
Patty has 2 Super Bowls, so
yeah. But he's pulling the wins out when they need him, and Russell's not doing that. He's shown that he's more of a first half, and the second half is kind of iffy. So that's why the stats say that, but at the end of the day, Mahomes is just playing better. The stats people want to go by the stats, but I think Mahomes is just playing better when they need him to. And for us, for the Broncos, Russell Wilson still needs to play better when they need him. So, but yeah, those were our Week 8 preview and a selection of teams games that we feel like we'd be worthy of watching on Sunday. But before we go forward, I think we're going to go ahead and do our quick hitters, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got to finish that out.
All right, quick hitters. Put up. So we each got 5. Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm not crazy.
All right. So
go back. Yeah.
Week 8 of 18. Quick hitters. Buccaneers. Bills.
Yeah.
Jets. Giants. Jets.
I'm going with the Jets.
Jets. Yeah.
If you want to make your change now, you can make that change. Going once.
No, Jets.
Going twice. Okay. Jaguars versus the Steelers. This one's actually
Steelers.
This low-key might be a good game to watch.
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Game of the week.
Don't stop talking.
Jinxing the fuck out of it.
Stop talking there.
That's going to be the game of the morning.
You already talked good about him earlier this episode.
No.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Steelers winning this one.
All right.
We already know what Naro's picked down. Eagles, Commanders. Zach, you said that this could be one of those.
It could be a sneaky game, divisional game, yeah. Give me the Eagles, best team in the NFC. I can't help myself.
Okay. I got the Eagles. Definitely. They're just
Dude, I really think that the Eagles
too much for Commanders.
Come out and destroy the
too much. Yeah, they're too much for the Commanders. Commanders ain't commanding shit in that game. Rams, Cowboys. Home game for the Cowboys. Huh?
Damn, Rams got to face 2 teams coming off a bye back-to-back weeks. That's nuts.
Yeah,
both
Cowboys.
Really good defenses too.
Yeah, that's tough. Tough look for the Rams.
Yeah, Cowboys.
I'm going with the Rams.
Who?
I like the Rams.
All right, Vikings versus Green
Vikings.
Bay. Oh.
That's a divisional game. Who won? Did they already play?
No.
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings on this one.
Yeah, the Vikings look too good right now.
Yeah. Falcons versus the Titans.
God, it's just 2 mediocre teams. Like, how? Yeah. Where are we?
Titans. I'm just gonna go to Titans.
I'm gonna go Falcons.
God.
Is the Desmond Ritter show about to begin, or
Desmond Ritter versus Ryan Tannehill?
Does anyone know where this game is?
Tennessee.
It's in Tennessee. I'm going with the Titans.
Yeah.
Wait,
Patriots.
Dak, did you go with the Falcons?
Yeah,
he chose Dolphins.
A-Town down, baby.
Patriots versus the Dolphins in Miami. Dolphins.
I just want to say I really want to pick the Patriots because of
Every time you pick them, dude.
no Tyreek and no Mostert possibly, and they just impressed with the Bills, but I'm picking Dolphins. I really want to pick the Patriots.
Them, dude. Every time you pick the Patriots.
And every time I don't pick them, they win, so reverse psychology.
Saints Colts. I'm going with the Colts. I think Josh Downs going to have a big game.
I'm going with the Colts too.
Colts.
I think Derek Carr is coming to the end.
Yeah.
That was a bad drop by Foster Moreau, though.
True.
That was so bad. That was a dot, dude. That was the best throw that Carr threw that whole game.
I think they should put Jameis back in there, but whatever.
Who did they play last week?
They played the Jags.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
Texans, Panthers.
Give me the Saints.
Okay.
Yeah, give me the Saints. Yeah, give me the Saints.
All right, I got you.
All right. Texans versus Panthers in Carolina.
Texans.
I'm going with the Texans.
Yeah, Texans.
Stroud versus
Seahawks.
Bryce Young.
Oh.
Shroud all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brown Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Browns on this one.
Seahawks.
I'm going with the Hawks too. I need the Hawks to win on this one. Yeah.
I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that before we turn this off. I want to make all my picks on here. Can't change them when we turn
Can't change them afterwards. It sucks,
Yeah,
dude.
we're
I
not
wanted to change my Raiders pick so bad. I wanted to. I was like, son of a bitch.
Bengals, Niners. Naro, you think this is going to be a good one to watch?
Yeah.
Who are you going for, though?
Oh, I have to go against everyone that is in my division. So let's go
true.
Niners.
Niners.
Yeah.
I just don't see this team losing 3 straight. I really don't.
Niners, yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
think
probably should, though.
hopefully
They probably
Jamar
should
Chase
lose
has
this
a-
game. Fuck.
They probably should lose this game.
They probably should lose this game.
You know what's really crappy about these picks too is how early we do them, because if Brock Purdy's out,
He is out.
Yeah.
That's why they should lose this game. But I don't think they're going to. I think Sam Darnold's going to rally the troops, dude.
right, so he could still come back.
No. Well, I mean, it's unlikely because no one's come back after being entered into it the same week. This year, at
I didn't
least.
know he was out.
Yeah, he's in concussion protocol. He's not ruled out yet, but he's going to be ruled out.
All right. You know what? I'm going Bengals then.
Who?
Bengals.
Kenny came back in concussion protocol.
Last year, he did.
No, he did this year too.
Not same week, though.
Yeah. I was terrified. I didn't think he was going to play when I went to go see him. Oh no, that was his knee. Yeah, you're right.
No. Only for concussions. For knees and other shit, testicles, all that, it's fine.
Testicles, you shit. Damn, bro. Wait. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. It's tough, guys.
All right. Next game, Chiefs.
Go ahead, Naro.
Broncos.
Naro, pick the Bengals.
Oh, you didn't pick
I
yet.
want them to, but I'm flopping. And here's why. The Niners are riddled.
Oh,
with
you're
it.
changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Niners
This is where I get my third weekly win, boys. Let's go.
All right.
I love it.
All right. So we're all locked in for that one. Chiefs, Broncos. Broncos.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
That's my freebie to you guys.
Yeah, okay.
You got it twice. Relax.
I can only be right twice. I mean, it's 3. Here we go. I'm going for 3.
Again, Chiefs, best team in the AFC, probably best team in the NFL.
Yes. I agree.
Love it.
Ravens, Cardinals. Ravens are going to destroy the Cardinals.
Which is tough, too, because the Cardinals looked actually kind of put together in the beginning of the year, and now they're just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone chose Ravens for that one, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Bears, Chargers.
Chargers.
Home game, Sunday night game at home. I got the Chargers.
That doesn't matter. The Chargers don't have a home. It's so sad, too. They were in San Diego for so long.
It's sad because you go to their games and you see a bunch of you see more of the away team jerseys than the home team.
The Chargers, you know what? You know what the Chargers issue is? They just need a freaking fan base. Get the Chargers a fan base, and I guarantee they start winning.
Yeah. They need a little more than that, though. Zach can't speak. NDA. It's okay.
No, it's all good. Chargers got fans. When you're on the field, you can hear them. It's whole different, but I get what you guys are saying. So I understand where you guys are coming from.
You don't count. You're a fan of two teams.
Hold on. All I said was when you're on the field and you hear the crowd, it's a little different. It tells a different story.
All right.
Yeah.
But I get where you guys are coming from. That's all I'm saying.
They just need a loyal fan base. That's all it is, man. Monday night game.
I'm pissed right now, so.
Raiders Lions for the Monday night game. After the Lions lost,
Lions
an ugly ass game. So Lions
eat them up, dude.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were gonna pick Raiders, bro. Jermaine, you fucking threw me for a loop.
No, nah.
The Lions are gonna eat them up, dude.
They're gonna eat them kneecaps.
This was the only bad game that the Lions had played. The rest of the year, their loss was to the Seahawks.
Seattle.
So they played well against the Seahawks, and
Overtime.
And that overtime, honestly, I think that the Lions won that game. I don't think the Seahawks should have won that game. But anyway,
I agree.
Yeah.
That was the only bad game. That's gonna be the Lions' only bad game on the season, and they're gonna poop on the Raiders.
Just defecating all over them, huh?
Yeah,
all over them on their chests.
Cleveland Steamer.
Like, oh, all right. Well, that wraps that up. God, the Cleveland Steamer guy, you fucking. At one point, they should have called LeBron that when he was just.
When he was. Well, speaking of that, the NBA's back, so shout out NBA.
Yeah. There we go. We're going to be doing some breakdowns too. That one coming up, but yeah. So that's it for our football segment tonight. We're going to sign off, but before we do, if you want to talk more football or just sports in general, join our Discord. You can join our Discord by finding a link on our website, K4V3.com. That's cave.com. We've got exclusive events, fantasy leagues, and perks for our members. And also tournaments. If you're into gaming, we do gaming tournaments, Fortnite, Warzone. We're open to anything. Come in if you want to throw a tournament down. We'll hear it out.
Play video games. Come in.
Exactly. We just want to play video games. That's really all this is about. Also, before we check out for the night, visit SafeLightCandle.com. So you can get, like I said earlier, you can get lighting for your room, your workspace, your office, spice it up a little bit, stay lit for the low without burning your house down because they're all 100% LED lights. All right, guys, it was a great episode. I'm your host, Proper, and the rest of our host panel, we got Legit Naro and Feel the Burn. Hopefully, we have a good week on our picks because 5 picks, it ain't doing it, man. So best of luck to your guys' teams. I know I'm going to celebrate the Broncos winning. And Francis, Eagles are definitely winning that. But yeah, guys, you got anything to say before we head out?
Yeah, I'm not bad at fantasy. I'm winning in my other league.